Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Did you, sir, say that the Lymans were reporting in from Fernandina, Florida?
The villages.
The villages. Fernandina, because Fernandina Beach, are they different places?
Maybe
Fernandina
they're at the beach.
Fernandina Beach is on Amelia Island. And it's
Amelia
like
Island's
one of the
on the Atlantic coast.
Yes, it's on the Atlantic coast.
Below Jacksonville.
And Fernandina Beach, when Tony Oliva was in the last group of Cubans signed by Papa Joe Cambria before Castro pretty much shut it down, they flew to Mexico. And then they went to Fernandina Beach, which had been the training camp for the minor leaguers of the Washington Senators, but it was the first year of the Twins, 1961, and they were still in Fernandina Beach, and they were going to send Tony home because it was like the middle of April, and they'd already set all the rosters. Mm-hmm. And then on April 20th, the Bay of Pigs occurred.
Yeah, and he couldn't go home.
He couldn't go home. And he ended up that summer eventually playing for Wytheville, North Carolina, a rookie league team, and hitting 411. And the rest was history. But I've always thought that back then they had these little places where they held their minor league spring training. And I remember, I think the Giants were there at one time as their minor league team, because when the Millers were a Giants team, I remember seeing their Fernandina Beach date line because Tommy Breyer talked him into spending a week in spring training.
Wouldn't it be great if it was still on a beach?
Oh, wouldn't it?
Spring training?
Oh. Yeah, because, the Cocoa, you got your Cocoa Beach, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Astros were in Cocoa. Mm-hmm. There's no similarity between Cocoa Beach, which is on the water, and Cocoa, which is in the jungle.
Where did the Dodgers train for years?
Vero Beach.
Vero
Beach. Fantastic.
That's on the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, it is.
Right,
yes, it is. Palm trees. You were there. Palm trees for the outfield fence.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. They had a berm, and then if you hit it up over the palm trees, it was a home run.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But also...
But they're in Arizona now, right? The Dodgers?
Yeah, they got out of there. But they used to go... they used to break camp and go out to California. They'd leave Vero and they'd play games and stop in Arizona and play games. And play games in Palm Springs for about a week or 10 days. But Vero Beach, Dodger Town, was a famous place. But honest to God, home plate and the first base dugout, the third base dugout, the stands were like 30 feet.
Oh, my God.
And they had a screen as wide as me, which is kind of wide, but that's all. I mean, how they didn't kill 100 people a
When
year
did
down
spring training become an industry?
there. Yeah, after.
Because it was not an industry
Oh, God, no.
when I covered it.
No, not at all.
It was at Tinker Field in Orlando.
Yes. It was not a. There were games. I was.
They played the
I
schedule.
was the beat guy 74 through 78. They'd have 200 for most games.
Right.
150, 200. The Red Sox had come over from Winter Haven a lot, and they might draw 500. And then the Yankees would come, and they'd get 1,000 people, but that was it. Tinker didn't hold many more than 1,000. All they got left at Tinker is like a little monument square that they got Reusse at Tinker Field. But you know what about Tinker? Your life was in danger in that neighborhood, but you never noticed it.
Right.
But you know how you knew your life was in danger, though? Because a couple blocks away was a Church's Chicken. And if there was a Church's Chicken, watch your ass.
So, to answer Joe's question, because the Twins moved to Fort Myers in '91, right?
Yes.
That's when.
Won
Wouldn't
World
you
Series.
say that was probably
I would
when
say that was it.
it
The
became
90s.
an industry?
That's when you started luring
Yeah.
teams to. Yeah, Orlando got first dibs to build something, and they wouldn't do it. So,
Oh wow, okay.
they said
Well,
they.
let me ask a Tony O question, Patrick. I did not know that story. Who's the talent evaluator that said, "Yeah, let's send this kid back to Cuba"?
Well, they already had all their rosters for their full season teams set, and they got delayed so long in Mexico that they flew in like 15 Cubans, but they told all but 2 or 3 of them to go home after because they hit about 6 fly balls to Tony and he almost killed himself.
Oh,
He couldn't-
that's right. That's right.
He was.
He was not a good
And
outfielder.
especially in the lights. If they ever played him at night, it was like he'd never played in the lights in his entire life. So it was because he was a bad outfielder.
Okay.
But the Bay of Pigs, then they sent him to Charlotte because Minnie Mendoza was a Cuban veteran that knew Tony, and so Tony somehow contacted him, and he said, well, come and live with me. And then Mendoza talked the Twins into letting him stay and go play with the rookie league team, which worked out okay.
Yeah.
Your current Twins,
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
they're not interesting.
They can't hit. It's
They can't
incredible
hit.
how rotten they are.
They're bad.
So they're playing Detroit, which has lost 11-13 to start the month.
When they
right?
came here. Yeah.
11-13.
Yep.
And on Thursday, the Twins are comfortably going along to win a game, 4-2 or something. And then Jorge Lopez, who's now having mental issues. Did you see that? We
did not.
We put him on the DL for mental.
Is he the guy who came over from Baltimore last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy with the bad hairdo.
Yeah, you got the bad blonde
Bad
hair.
hairdo. And he came in and gave up a quick 5, right?
Sure did.
Then he gave up a quick 5. And so they lost that game. That was the next day, Detroit has what we now call a bullpen game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They use an opener. Joe, they used 6 pitchers. I follow baseball fairly close.
I think so.
The first 5 could have been pitching for Hanska. I never heard of any of them. Honest to God, I'm telling you, I always look at the roster when the season opens. None of these guys were on the roster. They've had about 4 of their starting pitchers hurt and aren't pitching. And these guys dazzled us for 8 innings, and then they get this Shrevey, who used to be a reliever for the Yankees, pitched tonight. And then they turned around Sunday and did the same thing. The same guys pitched, and unbelievable.
I didn't get to see much, but I saw the inning that perfectly encapsulated the 4-gamer against the Tigers. It was the bottom of the 8th. Here we come.
They're trying to give us runs.
Yes.
They walk 2 and hit 2.
We've got
and
the-
a bloop single.
We
Here
got
we
the
go.
bases
the
juiced.
first 5 batters.
Yep.
2 runs, and they hit a guy in the head. They hit another guy, and they walked 2. So that's the Twins really, and 1 bloop hit. That was it, right?
And so here we go.
Yep.
We got bases juiced. Nobody down. Here
Bring
comes
up-
Farmer.
Farmer popped up.
And he tried.
Yeah,
he tried to
he
get
tried
the
to
ball
hit
to the
the ball.
outfield to get the guy in. Okay, we didn't work out.
Here comes Joey.
My God, here comes Joey freaking Gallo. And I said this when they
He struck
signed
out
him.
4 times yesterday.
Yes,
Yes,
4 for 4.
yes, he did, sir. And I believe in the last at bat, he only made contact once.
Yes.
I think he fouled one
Did he
ball
foul
off
one
in the
off?
bat in the at bat I saw.
And then
here comes Buck.
But I will say in their defense, the only other option they had was Chubby. They didn't have any players left, right?
I suppose.
I don't think. But Buxton, that by then they had a right-hander in who threw hard. Mm-hmm. Buxton had 0 chance.
None whatsoever.
Everybody was mad because he took strike 3. Well, he couldn't have touched it.
He
anyway.
wouldn't have hit it
Yeah,
anyway.
he would have missed it by a foot.
He was begging for it to be a ball.
Yes.
You know what Kyle Farmer said? Baseball is a hot and cold game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What was the rest of the quote, though?
And we're kind of lukewarm.
No,
right now.
you ain't lukewarm,
No, you're not lukewarm.
baby. You're
are
like
ice cold.
You're like Lake Superior in the middle of January, diving through the little bit of ice there. That's what you jackasses are. God Almighty.
No, Boston comes in the same kind of situation as Detroit, down and out. And,
yeah, but
and-
now
they just took 2 or 3 from the Yankees.
2 or 3 from the
swept
Yankees.
the Yankees.
Well, they did sweep
They
them.
beat the
Okay.
Yankees.
they'll
3
probably
games.
get better this time too.
Oh God, yes, they're gonna. They came in here like they flew in by themselves just to get here.
They
were
got to
so
get
excited.
rid of that dumb City Connect jersey that they wore last night because they were the Sunday night baseball game last night. That yellow and blue nonsense. That's got to go.
I don't understand that.
Well, it's a
uniform.
tribute to the marathon, which I get, but it's god awful.
Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, what do you think we would have done with that name in the baby walk?
Wyndham, we probably would have foghorned that.
Oh, that would have got this
I
one.
think we would have given it the foghorn. I got to tell you a baby walk story first,
All right.
and then we can get to Wyndham Clark. The ace pitcher for my granddaughter's 14-year-old softball team,
I'm ready.
Isabella Swanson.
Yeah.
We gave her the approval.
Oh,
Both of their children. We
Really?
gave. They marched them both through.
How many kids are wandering around this state having been approved by us?
Yes.
Or
disproved.
Or disproved by us.
I told her that. I said, we approved your name, and she looked at me like I was from another planet.
Right.
But her dad. then
well, I'll
explained
give you
it.
guys some perspective because we get asked about every year around this time as we get closer to the fair. We always get the emails. What
Gonna
day
have
is the baby walk
Yeah,
going to
the
be?
people still think it's going.
The last kid that came through the baby walk line just played in an 11U baseball tournament this weekend. It's been that long since you guys
was
did.
your son?
That was my kid, my oldest.
Yeah,
We
well,
just lost the fellow who did our tournament names. Remember the guy?
really?
Yeah, John, it'll come to me.
did he really?
Yeah.
Not that old. What
In
happened?
his 70s.
Was he?
Yeah,
Wow,
wasn't doing well.
John, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, that was work.
Well, it got to the
did the
point
whole-
where his wife wouldn't let him do it anymore.
Right. Yeah, she wanted to do other stuff. She wanted to go to a trip to Europe or something
Yeah.
instead. I know I can't. The state basketball girls tournament.
That was one of my first experiences with you guys working here, and I thought, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
There are people lined up for 6 miles down the state
the
fair,
baby walk,
the
yeah.
baby walk. Oh, my God, that was fantastic.
One year, I think we had over 100 because we used to have to go beyond the hour.
The big stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have to go beyond the hour. To
Yeah.
And didn't even charge him.
Didn't even charge. We did, however, I did. You get the feisty gal, usually when they had a tattoo or two, and I mean, the young mom with a tattoo, you'd turn, and she'd have like turpin or something like that. She'd give you the finger. When
Oh,
you get
yeah.
out of here. Give you the one. We got a few one-arm salutes. We got a few one-arm salutes. What'd you think of the golf tournament? I loved the golf course, didn't you?
I don't like the backdrop of the buildings.
No, but it is unique to say that you can have this plot of land, next to Sunset Strip.
That reminds me.
The Troubadour was right next door to the place, for God's sake.
So was the Playboy Mansion was on the 14th
Why
hole.
didn't they have a drone and show us the? They must not have. They must not have let them use a drone because otherwise they could have went over and showed us that. Apparently, the Playboy Mansion still has monkeys and stuff
Really?
running around.
You don't
can
like
hear 'em.
monkeys.
You can hear them.
Yeah, they
But
haven't.
you don't like monkeys.
I don't like them, but they haven't rounded up all the animals that Hugh used to have there, so they're just running around. I guess.
I read this over the weekend and saved it knowing you guys were going to bring this up. Do you guys know about the tax loophole that the LA Country Club...
I did read that.
Did you read the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's quite impressive, the money that they're able to dodge.
Pat, that plot of land where that golf course is worth $8 billion.
$8 billion.
But because of the way Californians have voted for property tax relief over the years, they're included in that, and they pay, I don't know what it was, $250 grand a year.
Yeah.
So here's the $8 billion assessed land value would typically mean hundreds of millions in property taxes alone, but LACC only pays $220,000 in annual taxes.
$220,000.
This is because of two rules. LACC is owned by its members and registered as a nonprofit. So they benefited when California voters passed a ballot in 1960 that lowered the value at which officials were allowed to assess nonprofit golf courses. This nonprofit rule also applies to other LA-based golf clubs. Then
Riviera,
in 1978,
Bel Air, all of them.
that's exactly what they said, Bel Air and Brentwood and Wilshire Country Club. In 1978, voters passed Proposition 13. This new law rolled back the assessed land value to its 1975 level and more or less froze that value in time. So that's the tax value they uses from 1975.
Because what would the taxes be on $8 billion
Oh, my
of property?
God. In California?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Well, it is a incredibly haughty membership, apparently.
It makes Augusta look like a public course.
Well, plus, here's what you're reminded of, and you've played golf courses like this. We did it when we were in Scotland. The tee box is here.
Yep.
I mean, the green is here, and the tee box is 20 feet away.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a problem. They only put 23,000 on the
Right.
course because they don't have enough room. Now, the Boston Country, the country club in suburban Boston, I was there, and that's the same. But they tried to put, like, the last time they had the Ryder Cup, I wasn't there, but they had to try to put, like, 40,000 people on there. That doesn't work, you know? But
I have your number, Joe. The true value is $8 billion. The assessed value is $22 million from 1975.
Okay.
Their annual property tax savings is $80 million
they have
Annually?
annually.
Wow.
They have some influential old money on that.
These aren't celebrities.
There's a Guggenheim in there. I heard of
Really?
There's a Guggenheim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy a lot of
But
diversity
they,
directors for $80
the
million.
membership stayed. We didn't even get the traditional membership guy talking to the president of the club, did we? On the broadcast, you usually get one. I don't. They wanted to be totally undercover. That's
John
for sure.
Stadolka. He did our sports
That's right.
names
John,
during the high school
Sorry
tournaments.
to hear about it. We should have sent a bouquet of
John
flowers.
Stadolka, great man, great living American.
Wow.
Yep.
When did he pass
Oh,
from
2
our
weeks
midst?
ago.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
John Stadolka.
Didn't know that. Some of those, there's a lot of people out there getting old, and you and I just stay pretty much on our toes here, pretty young.
Yeah,
Old right there at the end of the sports
sure
show.
did. GL.
Or GL. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's right.
I don't know, some show.
Oh, Patrick, we got to add to the list.
Added a list, yes.
I got notification last evening.
What?
Because Stu
List
Thornley
of dislikes.
is the official scorer of the Minnesota Twins. I am the official scorer of the list of things Reusse doesn't like.
Yeah.
And we are adding to it today.
What?
Barrels.
You don't like
Everybody-
barrels?
Barrels in baseball.
Oh, the bat.
Barrels.
Yes,
everything.
that's, yes.
We aren't getting enough barrels.
Oh, they didn't put the barrel
We need
on
more
it.
barrels.
Yeah, give me that,
Barrels.
Barrels.
Oh, we want more barrels, and we had more barrels than they did today. Kiss my barrel. Kiss my barrel right there.
It is a little pressure.
Oh, God, it's always barrels. Barrels.
Yeah.
God almighty. You guys don't, we didn't have a lot of barrels today. Is kind of another way of saying we really suck.
Oh, my God, we do.
It's unbelievable.
Can we get back to Wyndham Clark?
Yes.
I
He
think
played well.
I don't think Ricky Fowler will ever win a major.
No, he won't.
I don't think he's good enough.
You know how many golf? He joined the tour in 2010.
Yep.
You know how many, for all his fame,
Yep.
how many tournaments he's won?
5.
5.
Yep.
He won the Players. I'll give him that. That's a mini major.
Yep.
And but I don't think he's won one since 14, right?
No, and he's a fine guy.
He's a
He's
good,
fun.
nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy. And
You know what else I don't like though?
Oh boy.
They don't show us the wives anymore.
yeah, they don't do that.
Does that go on the
Me Too
list?
thing, huh?
Does that go on the list?
Well, I don't think it's enough because
Okay.
it would violate the Me Too movement. But
True.
we don't get to see the babe wife anymore. I mean, he's married to Allison Stocky. As pole vaulters go,
Yeah. We would have had her in our league.
first draft choice.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. She would have been a first draft choice in the WPVA.
Yeah, the World Professional Pole Vaulting Association. We were going to be the commissioner.
After the Sydney Olympics, we were going to have that. She would have been a first draft choice. You know, as buxom as she is, you got to be a hell of a pole vaulter to, keep clearing that thing. Although they go over back first now, so everybody does.
Well, I'm not done with Wyndham.
No,
I predict he will win majors.
he will win.
He is really good.
Oh, he hits it 100 miles.
Yep.
And he's got the... He had the cojones yesterday.
Yeah, he withstood the pressure.
He hit the shots. He made 2 straight bogeys. And he said, what's going to happen? And he boom, boom. He hits that drive, though. You know, it is amazing, though, how these golf courses can possibly defend themselves when they're hitting it. That one, Rory just hit that one 353.
Right.
What?
And this was a course 90% of them had never seen before.
Yes. Yeah.
McIlroy had never seen it. He only saw it by watching videos.
Yeah, they said Cantley had played it a lot.
The West Coast college guys played it. Homa played it, and some of the Sagi Thiela and those guys.
Homa never was. Did he even make the cut? I don't know. He might have made the cut.
I don't know. They don't put the money in anymore
don't put
either.
the money in. You're
but
right.
that was a $3 million victory. I looked it up.
3.6.
Yeah. So the caddy had a nice day,
what was
too.
your point about Fowler? You said he should have taken the live money? You said that's
he should have taken the live money because they were going to offer him a huge amount of money. And he's not that good a player.
Homa did not make the cut.
He's not, he's a...
But he's a big enough name that he would have been a draw.
Name.
Yeah.
They would have wanted him to... I like the fact he doesn't dress like a clown anymore.
Right.
Pretty much, he still has the logo stuff and the Puma, but it's not...
I didn't get to watch much over the weekend, but did they make a big deal about Monahan stepping down? Was that brought up?
I don't
Not
think
come
they
up
mentioned
much at all.
Really?
You know what else they did? It was always the marine layer. And it wasn't fog or the June gloom that they call it. They call it the June gloom.
Right.
We never once said the June gloom is still rolling in,
I had righteous young people saying, how can you watch this given the live deal? Well, it was a USGA event.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a PGA event.
Plus,
Have you bought
now
gas for the last 25 years, as a kid I used to have said?
I think I know which one said that.
It's a little different situation because you took the Princess's guy, the killer Princess guy, and put him in a chairman with Monahan. But we do a lot of business with Saudi Arabia, so it's not like if we start boycotting everybody that does any business with Saudi Arabia, you're not going to buy another Ford in your life or something like that. So anyway, I mean we're stuck with them.
Yeah.
And
plus, it was a USGA event, and they can let in who they want to let in, or you got to qualify.
Yeah,
got to qualify.
Yeah, well, a lot of the live players. I mean, they made peace. What the hell? Let them play. That's they bought the piece, but so what?
That's true. I don't know what to make of it. I just like watching the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I do too. And
see, now that's not good. I should be taking a stand.
Well, you softened on this a little bit, just like you did the pitch clock. You're a guy
this
that's
was
willing
USGA. This wasn't the PGA.
I'm not arguing with you.
There's nothing. They don't share common directors or presidents or vice
In
presidents.
fact, of all the majors, the PGA doesn't have any of them. The PGA of America
That's
is
right.
the PGA,
Yep.
the Masters,
Yep.
and the U.S. Open, and the British Open. Are all not the PGA Tour doesn't have anything.
The PGA's got John
They got the
Deere
players.
and
They have the Players
Wyndham's
Championship.
players.
Yeah.
Some designated events. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? I think this kid Clark will show up again, though.
I do too. He was pretty square jawed.
Or another sure bet would be to say Wyndham Clark will win another major before Fowler wins a major.
Fowler.
I don't think he can.
He doesn't hit it that.
He doesn't hit it hard enough.
He's got a putt like a son of a. You know what, Rory? Nobody hit it.
I'm not
better.
taking him in a putting contest.
Can't putt.
No.
I said he never. That he's never going to win the Masters because he can't putt, which is a putting contest. But yesterday, he didn't even get ooh.
Right.
He only had
No
about
oohs.
3 oohs.
Yeah.
Ooh, the crowd likes to go ooh if you're within 5 feet. He never came close to making a long putt. That wasn't the putt on that he did save par on 17, like 9 feet, his longest of the day or something.
Yeah.
He can't putt, but boy, can he hit it! Oh man,
He can hit it a long way.
It's amazing.
Can he hit it further than DeChambeau?
No, I don't think so. But he can hit it straighter.
But DeChambeau, I'm glad to see isn't doing much because I can't stand watching him.
No,
He's too stiff.
even now that he's not
Too tight.
Bluto,
He's too tight.
Oh, he is too tight. He's
too
even
tight.
now that he's not Bluto, he's still
Right.
too tight.
Right.
He's way too tight. But and they made a big deal about it on TV, but they're right. How high Rory hits it. It's
Yeah.
ungodly.
Yeah.
He hits it to the moon.
What is the advantage of that? Why do you want to hit it? I suppose so it
When
doesn't move when it lands.
When it lands,
stays
it's
there.
supposed to stay there.
Yeah.
But they were a little worried about that golf course when those guys shot 62 in the morning. Though.
Yeah.
They said, the fairways are huge.
Yeah, no members of that place really made themselves visible during this tournament.
No, they don't want us to know who they are.
Yeah. Who are they? Hedge fund guys?
I don't know.
The guys that came over on the Mayflower?
They're not first generation, most of them, I wouldn't think. They've been,
Well,
what's the
100
1920?
years ain't what it used to be.
That's right. we've already said that.
Yeah.
What was it, 1919 or 1923?
1923.
1923. So, yeah, it is. They must have some political people that make them get away with paying no taxes. Huh?
Ronald Reagan was a member.
Yes. Before, probably very rare for a Hollywood guy to be a member. So
Well, they probably allowed him in when he was governor of California.
yeah, that was probably it. Did he play?
I don't know.
I never.
He was a wood chopper. He was
Yeah.
like George W. He liked to
he
chop
never.
brush.
Does Junior play? George Junior.
Yeah,
play?
he plays.
Does
W
play?
plays, yeah.
Does he?
Yep.
Not like the old man who loved it, right?
No,
Not the old
W's a
man.
player.
Yeah,
He
okay.
likes to play. Mm-hmm. The Bush family was known for how fast they played.
Really?
They like to play fast.
I thought it was going to be even more of a problem the time of game yesterday, but it was still 5 hours, right?
Yeah. Well, they started an hour earlier.
Yeah, they would have had to. It would have been.
Saturday
that?
night it went right till 10.
I was going to say that's why it ended early. I didn't know they started an hour early
Would
because I
have they
flipped
had
over and it
time
was
for
done.
the 3-hole playoff if they got one?
I thought the U.S. Open was the next day.
Not anymore.
We changed it.
I think it's a 3-holer.
They might have not been able to finish
I don't
that.
think they still play 18.
I thought
We
they
had
waited
the
till the
one
next
out
day.
here, the lowest moment in the history of Minnesota athletics when 91, when we got the playoff between the worst playoff ever. Payne Stewart shot 75 and Scott Simpson shot 78.
Yeah.
But if you had a ticket for Sunday, you could watch Monday. And we had 30,000 Minnesotans show up to watch two people play golf.
Oh God!
And they teed off at 1.
Mm-hmm.
At noon, there were people sitting in the stands on 16
Mm-hmm.
where they were going to be in about 3-4 more hours.
It's so funny you brought that up because over the weekend, my kid, he's working on different things, and he was going to do the 65 All-Star team that you told him to last time he was in here. And I said, buddy, I got another one for you. You got to look up how many events we hosted in 91 because we had. Now you guys need to help me. We had the
everything.
World Series. We had the Final Four in that span, like that 6-month span.
91 and 92, right.
So we had the 91 World Series, the 91 Stanley Cup Final.
Right.
We had the 92 Final Four, the Super Bowl in 92, and the was it the U.S. Open? What was
U.S. Open in
US
'91.
the U.S. Open in 91? Am I missing something?
We had everything but the Kentucky Derby. I always said that we didn't have
In that stretch.
all of the big five basically.
No football.
Yeah, we had the Super Bowl.
I mean, a Super Bowl, but no Viking type stuff.
No, but I was thinking, did I miss anything else other than those five?
No.
And he just said, we had all, I said, yep, within 6 months or whatever it was. Everything was here.
It would have been 91 Stanley Cup would have been first, right?
Yep.
And then World Series. And
No,
then
the Open would have been before the
Open. Yeah, that's
World
right.
Series.
91
You're right.
Open.
Yep, you're right.
91 Open. Yeah, right after though.
Yeah.
2 weeks after the Stanley Cup ended on May 31st, Memorial Day.
Okay.
I think last day of May. I think it was. Because and then it would have been the World Series.
Yep.
And then the U.S. Open, and we had the Final Four too.
Yeah, I said the Final
We had the
Four
Final
was
Four,
after the
too.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Those days are not going to happen again.
I don't think so, Joe. I don't think so.
Although this weekend we got Taylor Swift for 2 nights.
Oh, boy.
60,000, and then we got the gay parade on Sunday with a lot of people downtown.
Oh, boy.
So downtown Minneapolis is going to have a lot of people wandering around.
Why don't you ask your partner what he did on Saturday in downtown Minneapolis?
I went to the Stone Arch Bridge Festival,
Okay.
but I thought it was on the St. Anthony Main side of the
on
river.
the other side?
It's on the other side. And I had my scooter. And so I was kind of trapped in some heavy traffic. And then, because I heard there was going to be a display of British cars.
Well,
I didn't see a car.
There wasn't.
So I got there, and it was a bunch of tents and food and people selling bracelets, and it was a gender festival. It was quite a display of the variety of genders that we now have. Yeah, and it was a very big success. But the battery in my scooter fell apart. I had to put that back together. And then I never did see
I
a
would
car.
have been in trouble because if the battery would have fell apart, I would have been.
Hey, buddy, can you help me? The Gender Fest.
Ma'am, or God, whoever the hell you are here, come on. Can you come over here? And you with the muscles, come over here.
You look like you could use a wrench. Get over here and help me with this battery.
So I don't know where the cars were, but they were supposedly there. I never saw that.
So
I was there for about 10 minutes.
So when you got to take like the River Road and stuff, though,
Yeah.
you're not getting on the freeway. and
No,
that
God,
damn
no.
thing.
I came to St. Paul's side on the River Road.
Oh, okay.
Then you got to cut through campus.
Yes.
On the way home, I was able to go River Road all the way.
Okay.
All the way to.
It was a failed. Why the Stone
Never going
Arch,
again.
You always think of the other side of the river.
I thought it was over St. Anthony, Main area. No, the other side,
Yeah.
by the buildings.
Well, boy, that was a bold move for you.
Well, it was very much an adventure, and I won't do it
I think
again.
Kenny asked you, did you do this being held at gunpoint, or did you do this willingly?
No, I wanted to go see
You
the
wanted
cars.
to go see the cars, he says.
And I didn't find them.
That's. Do you still got the MG? You still
No,
got
I sold the MG.
So you got nothing.
Oh, God, I got stuff.
You got stuff.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got stuff. Triumphs.
All right.
Yeah. But I wasn't about to take a car over there. It was bad enough zipping around in a scooter.
Right, right.
Which is what you take to an event like that.
Because it's easy to park.
Because you can get in and out and
That's
bing,
right.
bang, boom,
Didn't work out though.
No. And I know the cars were there because I read an announcement somewhere that the cars were not going to be there yesterday, Sunday, because the owners feared rain.
I have a new proposal for all baseball teams.
All right.
And sports teams in general. Hockey has already announced this. I got no problem with gay pride, but
What do you do with the nuns in Dodger Stadium?
If you're gonna,
Remember the Twins had nun days?
If you're going to invite the nuns, yeah, they used to have nun days.
Nun days.
If you're going to invite the gay nuns, and then uninvite them.
Yep.
You don't have to, just because you get a little pressure, you can't invite them
Well,
again. You got to make up your mind.
I couldn't agree with you
You got to
more.
go one way or the other.
Right.
You know? But I think it's a bad idea in the first place
I do too.
to have gay nuns or any. We don't need Pride Days. We don't need Armed Forces Days. We don't need any of this stuff.
Play ball.
Let the old guy who was in World War II raise the flag. Nobody can have any complaint. If we got a good gay pride soldier that fought in Iraq, let him raise the flag.
Let's go here.
But let's forget all the nonsense. Let's forget all the special interest crap and just play ball.
Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. That's who they were. But the Dodgers got smart, and they must have had them out there at about 5 p.m. because there was nobody in the stands.
I always tell you, well, they had the 2,000 protesters outside.
Yeah, and they had 49,000 for the game.
If Larry David would have been trying to get to that game, what would have he done?
Yeah.
Who would have he had in the car with him?
And who would he have offended on the way to the game?
The next Curb Your Enthusiasm when he's going to Dodger Stadium with the gay protest, and he can't have the bulky hooker with him to get there in the HOV lane. Who would have he had go with him? But I say just stop it all. Stop. You know, hockey is already one hockey team. Who was it already announced? We ain't doing nothing. We're not doing nothing.
Only the Kansas City Royals have not done a pride event.
And
why are we doing what's the?
Well, I've said
that's not. You're not being biased by not having it. If you're not. You know, if you're hosting,
you're not having an event against it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You just play. So we have a game tonight.
Yeah, let's play ball.
Go bleep yourself. Either go to the game or don't go to the game.
That's right.
Weren't the Royals
the most conservative lefty in town right here?
Right.
Yes. I mean, I'm just why bring it upon you? The Dodgers are the greatest baseball entity success story in history. You don't need to make sure the gay lesbian community comes to your games. They're going to be there anyway.
Right.
You know, we don't need it. You don't need it.
Because didn't we discover the Royals, thanks to Rookie, the Royals still have halter top day?
Yeah, they just.
But they give them away.
Oh, that's
they
right.
don't wear them.
That's right.
But if they give them to you, can you go in the?
Well, that's what we were wondering.
Because that's what used to happen. We didn't put them on them.
Well, of course
they
not.
had halter here, but the gals went into the ladies' room and came out wearing.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought the whole event was you showed up wearing one.
No, we gave them away.
We gave you
cheapest.
one.
They cost like 50 cents.
Right.
These little cloth.
Right. They were cheap.
Yeah, cheap.
Don't get too close to that fountain in KC, honey.
It couldn't.
The damn thing will be see-through.
It couldn't. I'll never forget Bob Doder, the great Bob Doder from UPI. He died young, cancer. He's in his 50s, but he had he was blind in one eye, so he always wore a patch. But one of those good-looking girls in the halter top would come by, and he'd lift up his thing and go like this. He'd
Get it a better angle.
He'd lift up his patch.
But you'll note, they don't dare do that anymore.
Oh, God, no. How did the Royals get away with it?
Well, I don't know.
I guess people don't care enough.
Maybe.
Well, if you're giving it away, you can say, hey, this is just,
Right, but the other teams won't even give them away.
That's true.
Oh, God, no.
That's true.
No, I saw that, and I said, oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a Cassidy promotion.
I think we should bring back Nuns Day.
Yep.
Yes, we should.
That was neat. Remember?
That's what they should have done.
Pat, I was thinking of days they used to have. Remember they had Fly-In Day?
Fly-In Day, yeah.
If you had a plane, you were some farmer up in Bismarck.
Yep,
flew to the game.
And then
What was the game? What was the day where you'd camp out beyond?
Camp in.
Camp in.
The camp
Wait,
in.
they'd have
It was a
RVs show up in the parking lot?
Yes.
Oh, my
It
God.
was a
I bet.
drunken bash.
A lot of people,
I always told the story about
sports writers waking up late out there,
I always told
having to get up to the press box.
I always told my story about the great Ronnie Berggren.
Yep.
I think Ronnie's no longer with us, and I don't know anything about his family situation.
So what the hell?
But we went out there one night. I was still drinking then, and we were out there, and there were trailers, and there was hijinks going on, and drinks, and it's midnight or so. 1 o'clock, or I go home. I went home. But the next day,
he drove home.
The A's are here. Oh, yes, I did. Many times.
Not funny, but we're laughing.
Yeah, well, I'm alive.
Yep.
And then
Well, so are
everybody
others.
I never killed anybody.
Right.
The A's are in town.
Right.
And it's a 1:05 afternoon. We didn't have to wait till 10.
Oh, God.
And
So you're done by 5.
And they start at 1:05, so there's no Bergie. Where's Bergie? Covering the A's. He's the only guy, the only beat guy traveling. I guess San Francisco had somebody too. But he worked for the Oakland Tribune. Where's Bergie? And all of a sudden, because behind the camp-in, you could see, like, there were some open areas, and you see this guy way out, and he's got a typewriter with him.
Right.
You can see it and looking at binocs, and Bergie's coming from the.
He was awakened by the anthem.
Sid's apartment building in center field. He spent the evening with someone there, and he comes wandering in about 2:50, and he got awakened by the anthem.
The anthem woke him up.
The windows are open. I was telling my Jim's in town.
Yep.
And we were talking about the A's and the old A's,
Yeah.
the 3 World Series in a row.
Yeah.
And he mentioned all the players, and I said, well, my favorite was Blue Moon Odom.
Yep.
Because Fowler and me and a couple other guys got hammered with him one night at the Executive House, the little bar upstairs. It held about 25 people. And we were up there drinking after
in Oakland?
After a game. No, the A's flew in.
Yeah.
The A's were coming in for a series of
Where's the Executive House?
It was a hotel. The Executive House. That's where the Twins stayed. And the bar upstairs in Blue Moon comes up after the A's arrive, and we stayed up drinking with Blue Moon until 3:30 in the morning. So it was great. Hey, Blue Moon was a great guy. Of course, I then had to write my afternoon story, which might have been a little bit of a problem.
Might have had a typo.
Yeah. might have been typing really slowly, and the next day sending it to the dispatch in triple spaced on the Xerox machine so you could keep up with it. Why do you got these quotes from Blue Moon Odom in the story about that the A's were
You had a long one-on-one with him, huh?
Right. Blue Moon Odom will be facing the White Sox tomorrow. Huh? What do we
Who the hell cares?
Yeah, right. Unbelievable. Oh, well.
All right.
That's
it.
We're both doing fine. Both of us old gents.
That's right.
Goodbye. This is Reusse, and you've heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I recommend that you give Josh a call is simple: trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns, and while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yep, that is more common than you would like to think in the investment business. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad you did, and don't forget to ask him why it is 48 minutes.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Reusse is a paid endorser.
Reusse for the Canopy Group. As you set out to explore Minnesota this summer, think about this. There are 234 cities in Minnesota with populations over 2,500. That doesn't include Fulda, by the way. But anyway, the Canopy Group has clients in all but 7 of these. Why is that fact important? Because the Canopy Group's experience in all of these Minnesota cities gives them a unique edge in getting you the best home and auto insurance coverage at the best price. Remember, the Canopy Group offers 16 insurance companies for a reason. to match your specific situation, including 2-year zip codes, with the absolute best insurance company for you. This is done for you annually because your specific situation may change. It is also true that the insurance company's appetite might change as well when you only have one option. This experience working throughout Minnesota provides thousands of Canopy Group clients with peace of mind, knowing that the Canopy Group is working for them. Please visit thecanopygroup.com today.